Hello everybody, welcome to this video on statistics. This is the third episode of the series. In today's video, we'll be going through the different ways of summarizing a dataset and what a standard deviation is. Okay, let's jump right into it. The different ways of summarizing a dataset. The first way is the mean. Second is the median. Third is the range. And finally, the fourth is the 5-number summary. In today's video, we'll only be going through the mean, median, and range. We'll be going through the 5-number summary in another video. These are the 4 most important ways of summarizing a data set. There might be more, but these are the most important ones. Let's start with mean. What is mean? Mean is used to see the typical value from a data set. Mean is also affected by outliers. I'll give you an example of both of them in a second. Before that, the population mean is represented by this symbol right here, and the sample mean is represented by an X. Remember, population, I mean like the population of the whole America. Let's say if you're talking about the average weight of the whole America, average weight of people in America, then this symbol will be used because that's the mean. If you're talking about the mean or average and mean are the same thing, of average weight of 10 people from America, average weight of 100 people from America, then we'll be using a capital X. Okay, so now let's get to an example. Oh yeah, before that, to calculate mean, you have to find the sum of all the numbers divided by the number of numbers. Let's get to that example. Let's say that there are 3 people working for a company. You ask each of them what salary they earn. Each of them says that they earn $300. So everybody earns $300 each. Let's find the mean here. So it's a sum of all numbers, which is $300 plus $300 plus $300 divided by the number of numbers. So how many numbers are there? 1 to 3 divided by 3. So the mean is $300. Now but here is the tricky part. Let's look at this example. This is what I mean when I say that the mean is affected by outliers. Look at this example here. $898, $1, $1. These are the salaries of a different company, and 3 people are working from that company, and these are the salaries of 3 of these people. Now let's find the mean of this. If you do the exact same thing, which is 898 plus 1 divided by 3, you'll get $300. So what is the difference between $300 here and $300 here? The mean, as I said, is a typical value. So that means if you go into this company, you should expect yourself getting $300. But at the same time, if you only ask for the mean of the company and you do not know these numbers, and if you see that the mean is $300 and you expect yourself to get $300 and you'll be another one of those people who gets $1, you will be a bit shocked, won't you? There is a way to resolve this problem. That is by knowing the standard deviation. So what is the standard deviation? Standard deviation measures the variability in a data set, or how spread out the data is around the mean. The standard deviation of a population is denoted as this sigma symbol, and the standard deviation of a sample is denoted as a small s. Both of them have slightly different formulas. I will show the formulas to you later. Okay, so what exactly is a standard deviation? Let's say that there are a bunch of numbers. Okay, I'm not going to show you all of them, but there are a bunch of them. This is the mean, not necessarily in the middle. It's not always in the middle of the data set, but let's say this is the mean, and these are the numbers around it. If the numbers are very far spread and they're very spread out, like in this example here, the standard deviation will be that big. But if the data is very small and not very small, but there's not much space between the numbers and they're all closely packed together, the standard deviation will be smaller. So how do we calculate the standard deviation? This is the formula of standard deviation. Okay, don't get shocked. It's actually very simple. Let's look at this top part right here. What is this x minus this x with the line on top of it? This x with the line on top of it is the mean in this case. I know I said that the mean is denoted as normal x, but in this case, x with the line on top of it is the mean. And this x is the value inside the data set. So let's take that second example with the three people. 898, $1, $1. Let's take that example. Let's say this is $898 minus the mean, which is minus $300, and you square it. This symbol right here means you have to do that to every value in the data set and add all the results together. So let's do that right here. $898 minus $300, 357,604, 375, 57,604. $1 minus $300 square, yes, also square, is $89,401. $1 is the same thing. So now you add all of these up. So $536,406. Not dollars, but that's the number that'll be up here. So what is n minus 1? N is the number of numbers or values in the data set. In this case, it's 3. 1, 2, 3. So you're supposed to do 3 minus 1 here. But be aware, this is the formula for the standard deviation of a sample. In our case here, that we are actually finding out the standard deviation of population, since we're only talking about the company and there are only three people in this company. So we do not, the difference between population standard deviation and sample standard deviation is, for the sample standard deviation you do this minus 1, but for the population standard deviation you do not do the minus 1. So for us in this case, it's just this number divided by 3 and square root the answer. So yeah, and also if you're also using a doing a population standard deviation, this symbol will be this here, as shown before. So let's quickly find that out. This number divided by 3, not minus 1, because this is the whole population. The whole population in the company is only 3 people. Usually there'll be like thousands of people in the company. You won't bother asking all of them. You'll only ask about like 100 of them. Let's say you ask 100 of them. So then you do minus 1. So 100 values minus 1. So now let's divide it by 3, 178, and square root is $422.8. That is the standard deviation of this data set right here. So we can see that the mean is $300 and the standard deviation is $422.8. Let's say you do not know the salary of each person in this company. You only see these two values. Now you know that. Now you probably wouldn't expect yourself to be getting $300. The standard deviation is so high. I mean, why would you expect yourself to get $300 if the standard deviation, if all the data is spread around so much? Now you get valuable information through standard deviation, through standard deviation that you wouldn't have gotten if you only saw the mean. Now let's go to this data set. If you use the same method as before and calculate the standard deviation, you'll find out that the standard deviation is $0. So technically, you should be getting $300 as a salary in this company. Of course, in this example, I'm not considering any experience, I'm not considering anything, only based off the data that we have here. Okay, now let's move on to median. What is the median? The median is the value that lies exactly in the middle of the data set. The median is also not affected by the outliers, unlike the mean as shown before. So, how do we calculate the median? Let's say you have a big data set or a data set. You should numerically arrange them like this. Find the exact middle of the data set, which in our case is here 9. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 9 is the exact middle. That is the median. So in this case, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, we have 9 numbers. So it's an odd number. So we'd have a median. But what if we have 10 numbers? We do not have a middle number if we have 10 numbers. In that case, let's say 10 is added into the data set. You have to find the average of the middle two numbers, which is basically 9 plus 10, which is 19 divided by 2. That is the median. That's all you have to know about the median. Unlike the mean, it does not get affected by outliers. So no matter how spread the data is, 1, 200, 700, the median will always stay the same if it's in the middle of the data set. Now let's go to range. Using the same data set, range is actually not as informative as the mean and the median. It's usually just used for formulas. To find the range, you have to take the biggest number and minus the smallest number. So these are the 4 things that I promised to teach in this video. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions at all, please put it down in the comment section. If you like the video, go ahead and leave a like. If you want to see more videos on statistics, check out my other videos or subscribe. I'll try my best to post every week. Thank you very much.